Disney Plus has no shortage of $200 million shows making huge flops for Disney Plus and their bottom line, as the streaming service barely ekes out a little bit of profit every single quarter. Agatha All Along is here to hit the Disney accounting books one more time. Now, the showrunner of this show has a parade of different titles that have entered into the lexicon, starting with Agatha, House of Harkness, Coven of Chaos, Darkhold Diaries, and now she's telling everyone that the title of the show has been Agatha All Along, All Along. Let's talk about what sounds like Cope here on That Park Place. Now, next week, the Pro Show is starting up on the Agatha All Along rewatch. There's part of me that hopes that I'm just imagining that Pro said that we're going to be covering that show. And Agatha All Along, the executive producer on the ever-changing title gag and following up a chart-topping single. Okay, so first of all, yes, you had a good song, and it was a good reveal in the show. Not that shocking of a reveal, because everybody was looking for Agatha. One of the better parts of WandaVision, I would say, back when that was the first foray into Marvel television. We got Agatha All Along coming along. It was, what was it? It was Agatha, the Darkhold Diaries. It was Agatha, the Coven of Chaos. It was renamed over and over and over again. And now they're saying, no. This was intentional at this point. This was, despite the rules of marketing, where you tell everybody what the title of your movie is and you don't change it. Now they're saying, we changed the title over and over again. In fact, to the point where Bob Iger just called it the Agatha series when he referenced it on earnings calls. Also, I'm going to point out that there was an original title for Captain America 4, the Captain America spinoff series, Captain America 4. And then they changed it to Captain America Brave New World. So let's read their argument, and I would love to get your thoughts on whether or not this is really what happened here. In November of 2020, the series was announced with the title Agatha, House of Harkness. I forgot about that one. But this designation ended up being the first of many different title changes, culminating in May 2024's reveal that it was all an elaborate gag. The title was always Agatha All Along. I'm going to cry boo on this one here. House of Harkness? That sounds like a different story altogether than what it sounds like we're getting here. Agatha, if you remember in the series, she was a person who betrayed her entire coven in order to steal all of their power, and she goes around seeking more power. So is this supposed to be a family endeavor here, or is Disney just meandering around with a bunch of horrible titles? Also pointing out that they can't do a single series here without putting the character's name as the title. Guys, Lester, Dustin, tell me, have any interest in this series? And do you think that this is really the actual title of the series? By the way, I'm going to add in Space Dave 2000.
It was me all along, guys. It was me all along. Oh,
I would watch that series. Guys, what do you think?
It just doesn't appeal to me because, honestly, I'm not into the whole witches thing. I mean, the longest standing memory I have of witches outside of Wizard of Oz is, I don't know if you remember it, maybe you do, Jonas or Vash, but the little Miss Nelson book series.
Yeah. I think, what is the name of that? I've read that to my daughter.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's Miss Viola Swamp.
Yes.
I think the story is actually We Miss You, Miss Nelson, but Miss Viola Swamp is the most notable thing about those books. Also, it's worth pointing out that this is two series that sound like they're going to be poorly received in a row that are centered around a coven of witches, probably also lesbian witches when it comes down to it. So that two nickels gag from Dr. Doofenshmirtz plays in here. That, like, it's weird that this is all happening all at one time, that Disney ends up in this situation where they stop producing content for Disney Plus, and the only things left in the chute are two series about covens of witches that are probably on the alphabet spectrum.
Is this the last of their Phase 4 stuff now?
I think we're actually in Phase 5 now, and they didn't make a great announcement on that, but I think we're in Phase 5.
What determines the start and end of a phase in Marvel?
Oh, they just tell you. They just say it after the fact. So Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was at least technically the start of Phase 5. So it used to be that Avengers films were the end of a phase, but they didn't have one for this one.
It's a small mercy.
It is. I mean, if we look at the whole phase altogether, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts. The high notes there would be Deadpool and Wolverine and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, they're going to have trouble making another one of those since it sounds like everybody who worked on those films has gone over to DC to go work for James Gunn over there. I'm pretty sure we saw Chris Pratt on the set of Superman Legacy. There was a very interesting shot that it looked like Chris Pratt, and two, it looked like he was next to a bunch of superheroes. So could have been that he was visiting set in something that looked like it was a movie costume. It could be that he has been cast in the DC, whatever they're going to call that. So I don't know. I don't think another Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming. Deadpool and Wolverine, there's no way they don't try to follow that up, but also trying to incorporate that into the MCU altogether. I think they're going to have problems here. And then you have these kind of things like the shows. Just to point out what's been in Phase 5, we have Secret Invasion, which was another show that ended up with an all-powerful female character that is the power of all superheroes. So calls back to the Rey situation there. Loki Season 2, a season of What If that most people didn't watch. Echo, which ended with Echo becoming all of the Choctaw at once. Yet again, that same plot point coming along. And then Eyes of Wakanda, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Daredevil Born Again, and Ironheart.
Did you just say Eyes of Wakanda? I never even heard about that.
Yeah, Eyes of Wakanda. I think that's going to be animated, and it's a Wakanda series. Let me see if there's any actual.
But didn't their last movie tank like nobody's business? Like technically,
it didn't do very well, and we found out after the fact that it wasn't profitable at all. And we are going to be talking about the New York Times expose that revealed that Black Widow was a $300 million picture as well there. So and that one. It didn't have a lot of, it obviously was special effects heavy because it's a Marvel production, but there wasn't a Thanos in that. The villain ended up being a guy in a suit that when they took off his helmet, it turned out to be a girl. Didn't change them from putting a dude in there for the stunt scenes. And Ray Winstone saying menacing things there in the office about the Black Widows. And now they're a bunch of goes. Sorry, that's my very poor Ray Winstone, So, Lester, Dave, you think that this show is going to be one of those, I hate to say it, one of those perfectly executed shows from start to finish where some director's vision is executed to a masterpiece? Or do you think this is another thing that's been reshot to all get out till it's basically unrecognizable?
Based on track record, the latter. I just find that based on, and this is something Script Doctor mentioned, that a lot of the executives making these decisions, they just let things fall on deaf ears and they think, just pump more money into it. Because it's funny, you would think that reshoots would be working to improve the quality of whatever that's produced, especially in TV. But it's like, no, we need it to match the way we want to see it, whether that is done well or not. So like you got to have both matching the vision and having it well executed. And as long as Disney executives are just like choking out the creativity, then this is just going to be another dud in my mind.
And at this point, I think they've lost probably $500 million on these shows. So when are they going to learn a lesson? Think about all that money that could have put into something worth the time and effort. But
yep, I think you're right.
Disney, Marvel and Disney are what they are now. So hopefully they've learned.
And I think you're right. And I think this was pushed into later quarters so they could shift around costs here, because we know from the data leaks that Disney Plus makes about $2.4 billion a quarter. But when they show how much it actually makes after you take out expenses, we're talking $19 million, something like that. So
they'll just raise the tickets in Disney World and Disneyland.
That's the strategy. They raised the price on Disney Plus by 20% in hopes that it will get them over that line, in hopes that enough people will not notice that they're being charged here.
It's such a silly way of doing things, because it's like, oh, we're not selling hamburgers, let's raise the price.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.